I'm Carol from Sunbury, Ohio.
I'm a Republican, but I don't care who does the job as long as the job gets done. That's why I like Sherrod Brown. He stood up to both parties on China and worked with Republicans to fight fentanyl because Sherrod fights for Ohio. That's leadership.
Paid for by friends of Sherrod Brown.
Good sleep should come naturally, and with the new Natural Hybrid mattress, it can. A collaboration between Lisa and West Elm, the Natural Hybrid is expertly crafted from natural latex, natural wool, and certified safe foams to elevate your sleep sanctuary and support a greener tomorrow. Breathable organic cotton and moisture-wicking Joma wool consistently provide cool and comfortable slumber. Every purchase helps fuel Lisa's work with shelters and those in need. Visit lisa.com to learn more. That's LEESA.com.
What's good, boys and girls? Two Footed Podcast Extra on Friday, October 4th. We're going to jump straight into the news. Pep Guardiola has joked he would reimburse Man City fans after hearing they are set to display a new banner asking him to stay at the club. The 1894 group, who organised displays of banners and flags, have raised more than £1,000 in just under 24 hours to create a banner that will say, Pep Guardiola, we want you to stay. He says, they have to bring me the bill. I have to pay for the banner. What can I say? Thank you so much. I fell in love since the day I arrived here. Let's see. He is waiting to see what the mood is around these 115 charges, and let's not pretend that anything else is taking place. On the topic of Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne has asked for time off from the national team so he can manage his playing time. He's obviously missed City's last 4 games, set to miss the game this weekend, and he will sit out the international camp and the camp in November to take care of himself and be able to play for City, which is smart given his age. Enzo Morasca says he is convinced Chelsea cannot compete for big things this season. With Manchester City and Arsenal, there's one name notably missing there, the team that's top of the league. The Italian manager has had a good start, winning 7 of his 10 matches. They're scoring a lot. They're not defending very well. I think they're going to struggle to make top 4. I know they've had a good start. I think teams will figure them out. I think there's too many flaws in that team and too many flaws in how he coaches. Personally, and I could be wrong, but personally, I feel like he's not going to get them in the top 4 this season. Maybe after that, but not this season. Brendan Rodgers says he's not really bothered by critics as Celtic prepare for their first game since the 7-1 loss to Borussia Dortmund. Well, you should care, Brendan. Your Champions League record is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. You've won 3 games, drawn 4, and lost 13 in the Champions League as Celtic manager over your tenure. Absolutely abysmal. And he was abysmal in Europe at Liverpool. He was pretty poor in Europe with Leicester. So yeah. Eddie Howe says it would be a betrayal if Newcastle were to move away from St. James's Park. Plans for leaving the stadium, which has been the club's home since 1892, were discussed at the Newcastle Fan Advisory Board on Monday. Chief Operating Officer Brad Miller says they need to understand alternative options. There is issues with Newcastle in terms of being able to expand because there's a terrace of houses behind one of the stands, and I believe they're protected. They're gorgeous looking houses, to be fair. I believe they are protected, so they can't be touched. So it's going to be tough to extend that stand, and certainly to heighten it. They could heighten one of the ends, and then they could maybe redo the areas that were expanded in the 90s and 2000s. Like, they're still in pretty decent nick. They don't need to be made bigger, but I'm sure they could upgrade all the facilities and the amenities and the different facilities that are available to people. It would be a shame to see Newcastle leave St. James's Park. It really would be a shame. Preston striker Milutin Uzmajic has been banned for 8 games for biting Owen Beck in the recent Preston Blackburn game. He's also been fined £15,000. Ouch. But fully deserved. Lassana Diarra versus FIFA. FIFA rules which govern the way some football transfers work break European Union laws, the highest European court has found. The long-running legal debate between Lassana Diarra and FIFA has ended with the European Court of Justice finding in favour of the former player. Diarra's legal team challenged some of FIFA's rules after the termination of his contract with Lokomotiv Moscow in 2014. They argued that some of the rules imposed by football's governing body restricted his freedom of movement and breached competition law, and sued FIFA for damages. The court's judgment says that by refusing to provide Diarra with an international transfer certificate, also known as an ITC, for a proposed move to Belgian club Charleroi in 2015, FIFA demonstrated that the rules impede the free movement of professional footballers wishing to develop their activity by working for a new club. The judgment says that those rules can hamper or even curtail the relatively short career of players. A FIFA spokesman said FIFA is satisfied that the legality of key principles of the transfer system has been reconfirmed in today's ruling. Did he not read the ruling? The ruling puts in question 2 paragraphs of 2 articles of the FIFA regulations on the stats because they're the only 2 that were relevant. This has been going on now for 10 years. In 2016, a FIFA ruling, backed up by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, found Diarra liable for breach of contract, ordering him to pay €10 million to Lokomotiv and suspending him from professional football for 15 months. When Diarra subsequently agreed to join Charleroi, the club sought assurances they would not be liable for any compensation to Lokomotiv. FIFA refused to issue the ITC required by clubs across the world to register a newly signed player, and the deal collapsed. FIFA is just, I mean, there's no, maybe the International Olympic Committee, but FIFA are just an absolutely appalling gang of lads. Like, he was 29 when he left Lokomotiv Moscow. And remember, the reason he went to Lokomotiv Moscow is because FIFA provided no oversight and allowed Anzi to be taken over and pumped full of money and then discarded. So all the players ended up having to leave. He never wanted to go to Lokomotiv Moscow. He just ended up there. And then he had to sit out 15 months of his career at the age of 29. Such a shame the way his career played out. He could have been genuinely special. Such a talented player. It just never quite worked out from. I'll be curious to see what happens in terms of, has he ever made that 10 million payment? I'm guessing not. Will he have to make it? I'm guessing not. Will FIFA have to pay him compensation for the disruption to his career? Probably not. And if they do, they'll probably fight it all the way. The Englishman who saved Udinese and the legends reviving them. Oh, Keenan Davis. Yeah. It's so funny to see how well he's done in Serie A, given, he comes through at Villa, doesn't quite make the grade, couple of decent loans, goes to Udinese, doesn't really play to begin with, and then scores the goal that keeps them in the division, and he's done pretty well. I've seen 2 of the games this season, and I've been impressed both times by what I've seen from him. Right, I'll go to break, come back with the gossip. See you in a sec. Right, welcome back. So, we might as well do 2 days worth of gossip, I suppose, even though there would be 4 to catch up on. Nobody wants to hear me do 4 days of gossip at this point. So, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Manchester City and Real Madrid are in the running to sign Florian Wirtz next summer. I would imagine every club is in the running to sign Florian Wirtz. Barcelona hope to strike a deal with Neymar when he is free to talk with clubs before his contract with Al Hilal expires in January 2025. I'm going to call BS on that one. Eddie Howe and Graham Potter are 2 of the leading candidates to replace Eric Ten Hag if he leaves Manchester United, while Gareth Southgate and Simone Inzaghi are also in the frame. Going to say that Howe is not going to take it. I think Potter would be a horrible choice. I think Allegri would be a horrible choice. I think Inzaghi would be great, but he won't take it. I think it's going to be Southgate, and it's just funny. Southampton boss Russell Martin is at increasing risk of losing his job following his side's poor start to the season. Former Chelsea manager Frank Lampard has hinted at his interest in the England role. Oh dear. Does Frank Lampard have any self-awareness? Like, he is a dreadful manager. He was garbage at Chelsea. He was garbage at Everton. He did not do particularly well at Derby. So, no. Martin Zubimendi says he has no regrets about turning down a move to Liverpool in the summer. I bet you do, and you're just lying to keep things nice and calm. Arsenal are set to face competition from AC Milan, Inter Milan and Juventus for Jonathan David. Karim Adeyemi is a target for Liverpool. I have doubts. Everton are not concerned about a January transfer approach for Liverpool for Jared Branthwaite. They probably should be. Everton could reignite interest in Miguel Almiron. That doesn't seem like the right kind of move for the edit, but, you know. Manchester United could opt to trigger a 1-year extension to Harry Maguire's contract. So funny. So funny. Right, what else do we have here? Paris Saint-Germain are leading the race to sign Mohamed Salah and will look to tempt him when his Liverpool contract expires. Liverpool have identified Adeyemi as a successor. No, they haven't. Nonsense. I'm just not buying that at all. Real Madrid have already made contact with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't believe that to be true. That's basically a Real Madrid fanzine that said that. Thomas Tuchel and Max Allegri feature high in Manchester United's shortlist as they consider sacking Ten Hag. Really? I mean, Tuchel turned you down in the summer. What's changed? And Allegri, I mean, did we not live through the Mourinho fiasco? Manchester United are preparing a bid of 34 million for Kareem Aktürkoğlu of Benfica. He's talented, to be fair, but I wouldn't pay that kind of money for him. Liverpool are ready to offload Wataru Endo as they look to bring in a young defensive midfielder. That's right, the right move to make. United are likely to revisit the pursuit of Mark Guehi. Newcastle United are likely to revisit their pursuit of Mark Guehi in January. Yeah, maybe. Chelsea remain interested in John Duran, but Villa want in excess of 80 million. I have a feeling, it's just a feeling, that Villa might sell Ollie Watkins next summer and go all in on Duran. Given Ollie Watkins' age, I think it will be the last summer they could really cash in. I think they'd sell Watkins and keep Duran. Barcelona and Juventus are both monitoring Alejandro Garnacho's situation at United. United are believed to value the player at 50 million. Fenerbahce boss Jose Mourinho is a contender to replace Sean Dyche once Dan Friedkin's takeover is completed at Everton. Dan Friedkin just sacked Jose at Roma. That would be odd. Everton are, I don't think, going to make that move. I don't think they're going to make that move. Atletico Madrid have identified Ben Chilwell as their latest transfer target. Maybe. Could make sense on loan. Erling Haaland is set to sign a new contract, but wants a 100 million release clause added, which is very low for a player like him. Newcastle are among the front runners to sign Jonathan David. Jim Ratcliffe will be in attendance for United's game against Aston Villa. as speculation over Ten Hag increases. Ratcliffe said it wasn't his call as to whether to sack him or not. Barcelona are making the signing of Haaland in the summer 2025 their priority. Sure they are. As will a handful of other clubs, many of whom will have more money than you, including Paris Saint-Germain. Right, folks, that's going to do me for the week. Nice light week for me. Monday, back to normal. Monday through Friday next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.